So here's the 1 million question that keeps CEOs awake at night. Why do companies spend thousands on AI training, implement the latest tools, and still see zero transformation? What is happening? The answer to this isn't about what you think. It's not about the technology. It's not about the prompts that you use in your business. It's not about even the tools that you're using, the different AI tools. It's about something far more fundamental, something that separates world-class AI, you know, consultants and businesses that are trying to kind of implement and, business owners that are trying to stay ahead of the game, leveraging whatever tools they find, in the ecosystem today. So I want to share today kind of like the hidden framework that is transforming companies across the globe. And it's a framework that it really helps businesses transform the way they should be thinking in today's era with technology and AI. So at the end of this episode, you will understand why some businesses are thriving with AI technologies and with the AI revolution, while others are drowning into complexity. I'm going to be talking about the 20 paradigm disruptions that AI is causing today. Disruptions that are happening whether you are ready or not. And more importantly, I'm going to show you oh, I can't even talk, exact system we use to help companies shift from finite thinking to infinite thinking. This is the main point that I really want to make for this episode. And this isn't another, show or topic about how to use, prompting with ChatGPT. It's not a tutorial. It's not about reviewing the fundamentals of the operational systems of how businesses think and work and compete in the age of AI. This show is going deeper, and that's why I want you to really pay attention to it. Here's what I see happening everywhere. Most people approach AI with what I call a finite thinking. They think, how can I use this tool to do what I'm already doing today faster, regardless what you're doing, whatever department you're working on, if you're a solopreneur, small business owner, it doesn't matter. It's like trying to use a Ferrari, but it's really like using that as an expensive bicycle. It's just not, that's not the way you would be approaching it. And let me explain what finite thinking says. It is, for example, like if you're thinking that way, you would say, I need to write an email. So I will ask AI to write me an email about X, Y, and Z. That would be the finite thinking, the way you will leverage AI today, like if you have that kind of thinking. Now, the infinite thinking you would say, I need to create a marketing campaign. Let me work backwards from my vision and orchestrate a system where AI will handle the execution while I focus on the strategy and the impact. That's the difference. That's how you work differently in this era with AI. So now, this framework that I'm going to share about, it doesn't really come from nowhere. My mentor and coach, Kane, and his team who works at Industry Rockstar have been working with over a million of entrepreneurs for a few years now on this topic, specifically tracking how AI is changing businesses. And from all that research and observation working with clients, they have identified about 20 paradigm disruptions that AI is causing right now. So these are not theoretical disruptions. They're real, they're measurable. there are changes that they're happening in businesses today. So I want you to listen to this, and I want to give you maybe 3 examples on paradigm disruptions that are absolutely critical that can really help you think differently on what's happening today. So let's talk about disruption number 1, which is power design. This is about the democratization of capability. For thousands of years, real power required massive resources. Have armies, have capital, infrastructure, large teams of experts. That was kind of like the the resources that were required, right? But think about this. If you wanted to compete with a major corporation, you needed comparable resources in order to really compete. You needed to hire teams, secure funding, build infrastructure. That was the always. AI now is fundamentally changing this equation. What used to require a team of 50 people can now be potentially accomplished by a small team with the right AI tools and strategy. A solopreneur can now access capabilities that were previously only available for large corporations, Fortune 500 companies, right? Advanced data analysis, content creation at scale, customer service automation, market research, and go on and on. Like all those things, as a large corporation, it's available, but as a solopreneur, it wasn't, and now it is available at the fingerprints. So what this means is that the barriers to entry are dramatically lower. Innovation can now come from unexpected places because the tools of creation and distribution are more accessible than ever before. And we're seeing this play out in real time. Small teams are creating viral apps. They are individual creators building audiences that rival traditional media companies, and startups are disrupting industries with, lean operations powered by AI. So for established businesses, this means rethinking what creates sustainable advantage. It has to be agility, innovation, and the ability to leverage these new tools effectively. That's what established businesses need to rethink how they work in this situation. Now let's go into the disruption number 2, another example. And in this one, it's about value contribution. This one will require some nuance, right? Traditionally, decades of experience, for people equal higher value. So you have so much experience, and then you have higher value to offer in a business, and that will give you respect in the workplace. Experience meant back then, like that you had seen problems before, you knew the pitfalls, I could make decisions based on pattern recognition that was built over the years with your experience working in whatever field you work on. But here is what's happening. AI can now analyze thousands of case studies, research papers, historical data points in seconds. It can identify patterns and generate solutions based on a much broader data set that an individual could accumulate in a lifetime with whatever their experience they have. Now, this doesn't mean that experience is worthless, not at all. I'm really far from it. But what's changing is where the value lies. The value is shifting from having the information to knowing how to apply your wisdom, make judgment calls, and provide the human context that AI cannot do that. That's why as much as AI is providing so much opportunity for businesses, you still need to have the human in the loop, and you still need to have the strategy, and you still need to have that experience. But it does make a big difference for having all that information already accessible. A junior entrepreneur, for example, with AI tools and the right mindset can indeed access the same level of analytical capabilities that took someone, a veteran, years to develop, right? So, but the veteran's value now comes from the values that come from the strategic thinking that that person has for all these years of experience, the relationship building, understanding organizational dynamics, and providing the wisdom that comes from the life experience. So as much as AI is great and gives you all the data, having the experience, it gives you another layer of importance that can help, take your business, your career to the next level. The key is recognizing this shift and adapting accordingly on how things are moving, right? Rather than competing with AI on the information, that has been shared already that you can access alone just with the different tools. And the third disruption, it's about the rate of creating content. Think about how content creation used to work. If you wanted to produce a marketing campaign, you would need copywriters, designers, video editors, maybe a whole creative agency. A single blog post might take hours to do the research on what to write and write the blog. And then a video could take days or weeks from concept to a final cut to release it. Now, with AI, that really changed the equation. What used to take a team of people weeks to produce all this, now you can do it with one person in hours or in minutes, depending on what you're trying to create, and a bunch of AI tools. So we're talking about generating blog posts, social media content, video, graphics, presentations, all at the speeds that it's crazy that now you can do it in really short period of time. But here's what's important to understand. That's why I'm going with these examples. This is not just about speed. It's about the democratization of the creative capabilities that you have at hand. A small business owner who never considered themselves creative in the first place can now produce quality marketing materials. A solopreneur can maintain, a content presence that looks like it came from a much larger organization because of the quality of the output that they can create with all these tools. The challenge this creates is what I call the content saturation. When everyone can produce content at scale, now the real differentiation comes from strategy, authenticity, and understanding your audience deeply. The technical barrier is gone because everyone can leverage these tools nowadays, but having that strategic thinking becomes more critical than ever. And that's where, when I talk about before about experience, that expertise gives that additional layer of success for you as a business owner, as a leader, professional, to be better in this paradigm shift that we're living today. So for businesses, again, this means you can no longer compete, but just having, in this case, if we're talking about content creation, more content or bigger production budgets. That's not what makes the difference now. You need to compete on being relevant, on the timing, releasing stuff, and that genuine connection with your audience, because that's what is going to make the difference, the way what communicates and the way you communicate. But here's what gets really interesting, and this is what most business owners miss entirely. These disruptions aren't just changing what people do. They're challenging fundamental beliefs systems that have been hardwired in people for decades. When someone believes I need to work really hard to be successful. And then they see AI automating 80% of their workload. They don't really feel relieved. They feel lost. Their entire identity was built around working hard. And that's what I'm talking about here. When someone believes my intelligence is my competitive advantage, and then AI can outperforms them on cognitive tasks, they don't feel excited about the possibilities. They feel threatened. This is why just taking AI trainings will fail. Just using the tools and taking trainings. A business owner can learn how to prompt, but they don't shift their underlying beliefs about work, about their value and the success. They will never embrace the technology if they continue thinking the same way and doing the same things the same way. So I wanted to share like 50 fundamental human paradigm shifts that happen in the AI era today. And I'm not going to go over the 50, but there's 51 that has been identified as human paradigm shifts that is really impacting people's behavior. If we talk about intelligence, moving from a scarce human asset to a scalable commodity. If we're talking about success shifting from hardware to smart systems, if we're talking about, and these are examples, I'm not going to go over all of them, but if we talk about value changing from what you know to how fast you can adapt, or learning evolving from memorizing facts to prompting and making synthesizing AI outputs. So that's where kind of like examples of how to approach it differently in order to understand these shifts. So this is what separates businesses that successfully adapt AI for those that really struggle. And it's not about having all the amazing AI tools and that they're in the market. It's about having a team that thinks differently about work, value, creation, and their role in this AI augmented world. As AI gets more powerful and more integrated in business processes, this mindset shift becomes more critical. The companies that thrive will be those that successfully shift their collective thinking, not just their tech stack. And it's the business owner, it's the team leaders, it's the teams that works in the company, and that has to be addressed from the leaders in order to make that shift. It's not going to happen by itself. So let me leave you with this. We're not just in a technological revolution, we are in a consciousness revolution. The way humans think about work, value, creativity, and success is really fundamentally changing. So as AI continues to advance rapidly, these paradigm shifts will accelerate. We are already seeing this acceleration in how quickly new AI capabilities are being released and adapted, right? The companies and the individuals and the leaders and the team members who understand and prepare for this shift now will be better positioned to thrive in the changing landscape that is happening now. So we have incredibly powerful technology today, but we are trying to use it with outdated operating systems, outdated ways of thinking. The gap between our technology and our mindsets is creating chaos, fear, and resistance. So remember, the paradigm shifts are already happening, and that's what you need to tackle today beyond just the AI technologies. So I hope these episodes were helpful. It's a very different approach in terms of how I'm bringing content to you guys, because I want you to understand that the mindset, it's important, and for everyone to really understand how things are impacting teams and you personally as a business owner in this era. So drop a comment if you're in YouTube or in the podcast, or email me back if you like, what do you think about this episode, and what paradigm shift are you seeing most in your industry right now? Maybe you have a different point of view, so I would love to hear from you. If you want to dive deeper in this framework, in this content, feel free to visit my website at marianadalto.com to learn more. And until next time, keep thinking infinitely. See you next time.